they have cranking out so far. So that'll be incredible to watch that as that builds out over time. Ethereum breaking up over $2,600 over the weekend. So I, of course, want to go and take a look at the price action that we have for Ethereum moving forward as well. I mean, just absolutely incredible, and we got a lot of things to be excited about. So we'll go ahead and take a look at what we have on WEBULL. We'll also go to CoinMarketCap, and we'll see how we're doing in the crypto space, especially where Ethereum's concerned. Should be pretty incredible for us. All right, so let's start off with, let's go to Xpeng first, because they had some pretty excellent delivery news moving forward with that. So there we have about 7 minutes until market open. Let's go down to the 30-minute chart. There we are. So you can see us trailing off into the weekend, and as we hit the pre-market hours today, we start to get that delivery news for strong deliveries coming out of Xpeng, really pushing that price back up to where we believe that it should be. This was one, I believe it ran up close to just over $70 when I had my original position, and I sold nearly, I think I sold half my position when it went up over 70. So easily into profit territory, because I think that my price on it was somewhere in the 30s. And then when it dropped down to about 59, I think I sold the rest of it. And then I just waited for it to come back down again before taking another position. And I think that position might be around $40 a share. So a little bit rich compared to where I was at before, but nearly a very small risk left over on that one. Xpeng just performing incredibly so far in the Chinese markets, and having, I think that these prices that we see are well merited by the forward-looking fundamentals that we have, even if it is a little bit rich by today's production standards. So let's see. There we go. There we go. Xpeng stock rallies after record July delivery date, and it says that NEO stock slips. So for Xpeng, let's see if we can pull up their trading numbers here. Let me move over here, and I should be able to move this tab over. There we go. So this is what we're looking at right now. So talking about the pre-market rally that I had, and EV maker reported July deliveries. Woo. That tripled from a year ago and rose 22% from the previous month. So 22% over the previous month for their deliveries. NEO falling short of July's deliveries, but up significantly from July of last year. So also good things there. Do they mention Lee Motors in this one? Yeah, we're going to have to go to Lee itself in order to see that. But we have strong numbers. We have that growth that we know that EV is going towards. A really nice sector to be in, and there's no reason why the Chinese stock shouldn't be part of that. Just a huge economy over there, and lots of companies that are putting out these really quality cars. So let me see. They're seeking alpha. Let's check that one out. All right, so NEO, let me see, month over month, Lee registers month over month growth, awesome. So Lee also putting out stronger numbers over the month of July. There we go. 11.4% over last month, incredible. So and this is even through the chip shortage, so persevering through there. And oh, there we go. Check out that graphic. Somebody was very kind and put that out for us. So you can see the drop that we had from NEO from just over 8,000, almost 8,100, down under 8,000. And then Xpeng going up to that 8,000 mark. And check out Lee. Holy cow. They went from 7,700 up to 85, 89. So they have delivery numbers that are surpassing anything that the Xpeng or Lee has done. So this is really good news for us, and we can see that nice subtle upward trend that we have. And as we rotate out of the semiconductor shortage over time, and as we get EV growth, these should start to increase more rapidly than what we see right now moving forward. So absolutely excellent for those. All right, some of the other movers that we have this morning. We have about 3 minutes until the market goes. ETON dropped about 5 or 6%, I think, on Friday, somewhere in there. You can see that drop off that it had. Well, they have an FDA action date coming up Thursday, maybe of this week. Let's see if we get some illumination on that week ahead. ETON awaits FDA decision. So for them, I believe it's a anti-seizure medication that they're developing, and I believe that it's for children under 12. I would have to check on that, and maybe there's even one for children under 2. And let me see. I was hoping that would open for us. In any case, so for ETON, that action date, and I'll check on that. I'll get back to you on that one. I believe that it's Thursday of this week that we're expecting the FDA action. So this is one that could run up on that anticipation of good news from the FDA. And if it does run up, and then even if we do get good news, we could have some profit taking, or there could be a little push afterwards. It could be a buy the rumor, sell the news case. If it's one that doesn't show us a lot of action over time, leading up to the up to that news, if this is just, normal correcting that we see in the charts, we don't really get that run up, then it's something that when we actually do get that FDA action, and if it is positive, we could see that really be a catalyst for ETON's stock price moving forward. ANVS, there you go, Anovis Bio. Getting some funny things here in the chart. Let me see if it happens to XPUNG as well. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening there. We'll just move on from there. We'll come back to it. But Anovis Bio also up significantly in the pre-market as well. Actually, I'm just going to shut down WEBULL. We'll start fresh because we got a few seconds here until the market opens. There we go. In the meantime, we'll check out crypto. Check out Ethereum. Still almost at that $2,600 mark. Absolutely excellent. And, it's finally catching up to Bitcoin's price action percentage-wise from where it was at, with Bitcoin floundering for a while near 30. Then it went up over 40,000. Ethereum failed to break the $2,400 resistance. And now it finally did. It significantly broke that $2,400 resistance, probably by about 10%. We'll go into the chart and we'll look at the peak for that. And bring WEBULL back over to my screen so you guys can see it. There you go. All right, so there we got ETON. And there we got ANVIS. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to see a little bit more of their price action. So they closed at $34.43, and now they're up over $36, and market's open. All right. So let's go here, grab our percent change. ETON doing well. Tesla. I will come back to crypto. I just wanted to take a look at the market open as we have it. Let's stop by Tesla while we're talking EVs. There we go. Nice little pre-market run up for Tesla. Their deliveries usually come out around the 1st as well. Let's see if we get delivery news at all for Tesla. All right. So I'm not seeing anything. Let me see. Ourselves Tesla. All right. So some of this push that we could see could be on the backs of the Chinese EVs. The significant thing here is that we've broken over the $700 mark for Tesla. That has been $695 actually was a fairly strong area of resistance. We can see we broke it a little bit here, but 700 was that really, really big area of resistance that it has taken a while to get over. And finally, we've come up over that. So looks like we're in good shape so far with Tesla, and really strong price action coming out right at the open here. And we have, if we look at the level 2, looks like we have a price wall hitting us right around 708. So we could find some resistance there. But I mean, there's just a lot of activity right here at the market open. Very typical of market opens. Let's see where else we're at here. There you go. Let's go to Lucid actually. There we go. So Lucid hanging around those mid 24s. We're actually, look how even those tops are from what we had in the market open yesterday in the low 24s over to where we peaked at here today. Still again in the low 24s, low to mid 20s, I would say is about right for that. Let me see what else we got moving here. Actually, FUV is an interesting one. Let's go look at that. Arcimoto. There you go. So Arcimoto is a high short interest play. Now, mind you, short interest aside, I like the FUV stands for Fun Utility Vehicles, and they're really small, practical, short range electric vehicles that, in my opinion, there's a lot of use, a lot of utility that can come out of them, and especially for those short day trips that we make, those every day, back and forth to work or to the grocery store, the really practical uses that we would have for them versus the longer trips that we might make that wouldn't be our everydays. So that's sort of the niche that they fall into, and really getting their deliveries out and really scaling up their business are sort of what we're waiting on in the meantime. So let's go to the daily chart on Arcimoto. So we take a look at the daily chart. You can see we keep bumping up against resistance somewhere around, let's lower that down a little bit. It looks like 16. We have a peak up there around 18. So $16 to $18, but really that 17 right in the middle. So I would say, that $16 to $17, if we can break up into 17, then we have that run at 18. We're just going to have to wait and see. It has been trading sideways for the most part for a while. Now, as we come up on this most recent run up, we have this cross here coming up for the moving averages between the 50-day on the bottom and the 200-day on the top. And when they cross each other, that could be a bullish signal for us. That could be something that, with enough positive news for Arcimoto, that could really push us to the upside. So we'll have to watch and see if it fails to break resistance and comes back down and then hits support down here at about the 200-day, or if it's going to be one that's going to push higher and really break out to the upside. Let's see what else we have moving. All right, here's our friend SoFi, and you can see trading sideways for the most part, sort of tapering off on the high side and on the low side, really squeezing in. And if this is the most narrow range we get today, we could really start to see this possibly breaking up or down anytime soon. We are closer to support than we are to resistance. So if we do break to the downside, hopefully we catch support. If we do catch support in the high 14s, that's really good confirmation for us that a lot of the risk has come out of SoFi. If it breaks to the upside, we have room up to like the mid 16s. So about $1 up from where it's at now, which would be about a 6% upside from where it currently resides. All right, so let me check the comments here. Puneet says, hi, Dr. Stock. Good morning. Any chance? Okay, Avenger, absolutely. We'll take a look at it. Avenger, GE up 7%, 700%. There we go. All right, so there we are. So taking a look at GE, they're currently trading under the 50-day moving average, up above the 200-day. So definitely in bullish territory here. Let's check out the news of why General Electric shares are trading over $100 per share. GE shares trading over $100 per share after the company's 1-for-8 reverse stock split went into effect. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense as to why I look back on this price history that we have. I own just a few shares of GE. They're ones that I got for free from WEBULL through the referral program. So if you guys are interested in WEBULL at all and you want to sign up, there is a referral link in the description of this video. And that's what I have GE through. So seeing that 8-to-1 reverse split, I don't know how many shares I have from that. I had a couple of them. So yeah, seeing that price, it was incongruous and it really threw me off for a second on what was happening, but that makes a lot of sense. So if you divide this price by 8, kind of shows you a little bit more of where it was at. We do get to see a decent line of support right around like just under $102 is where we keep on hitting that support. It looks like we dropped down for just a little bit on the 19th, which is a big sell-off day. And then we had a huge recovery day following on the 20th that the price came right back up. And that's typical of a lot of the stocks that we saw. All right, who else we got? Tesla mooning. Tesla, yes, we took a look at Tesla already, and yeah, they're doing just fine. Let's see what it looks like on the daily chart. All right. So, hey, this is nice that it worked out. So I had these these diagonal lines drawn in here, showing this little wedge that we were forming up, and I said that we could break to either side, and that from the support that we had, it looked like it could break to the upside. And hey, it worked out this time. We broke to the upside, significantly to the upside, as a matter of fact. So moving forward from here. Let me see. We'll put a horizontal line right across the top of that. Excellent. So it's actually bumping up right against the next area of resistance that we have. If it happens to break over where it's currently at, around 710, 712, right around that area, we actually have room. We have a lot of room to the upside from there. We're trading up above the 200-day, so that's excellent. The 50-day is starting to curl back around. It was negative for a while, went flat, and now it's inflecting back upwards. So we're getting near that golden cross. So absolutely wonderful for Tesla to be back up over the $700 mark. And hopefully we get to stay there for a while. It's still going to be volatile and stuff. And months ago, I said about being under 700 would be sort of a buy territory. And now we're finally back up in those. And the shares that I have in my portfolio, while they're doing pretty well, I think my cost basis for Tesla is around 646. So it's on the higher side. It's certainly not a super early entry into Tesla. It's one that passed me by and passed me by and passed me by. And then finally, after I saw it go up to 900 and watched it go through all the sell-off and everything and watched it tumble right back down, I bought some, I think, in the close to the higher sixes. And then when I saw it drop down here to 546, I bought some more, figuring that would be my opportunity to get in while we were having such huge selling pressure, that when that pressure came off, that we would be back, that I'd be back up into green territory, in a profitable territory on those shares. All right. So thank you, Taco. And Puneet, I said I would get to Avenger, so let's check them out. Oh, I did not type that in right. There we are. So Avenger has finally settled, and it's taken a while. So max selling pressure for them out of recent history was on that 13th of May, like a lot of others. And that gives us, we're actually handling the support pretty well. So they bottomed out around 88 cents. And now they're coming. So I would say like that 88 cents up to the low 90s would be where we find pretty good support. And we're sort of settling along that, but we're still in that sort of bearish downtrend. And we're waiting to see some of that price action come back in. And so for Avenger, they need research, and that research should hopefully lead to adoption, because it does. One of the biggest things that I see, so they talk about atherectomies, so taking the plaque that's inside people's peripheral arteries to down in their legs and stuff, especially below the knee, which is difficult to do. And they have directional catheters that they can actually, well, they call them directional atherectomies, that they can actually guide the tip of their catheters down through the people's peripheral arteries easier and clear them out. So below the knee applications are actually pretty important, because they're hard to treat. And under typical circumstances, and I believe it's Boston Scientific, I think is the name of the company, who's the number one in that space. For them, it's a matter of using X-rays and using tracing dyes and guiding the tips down through the peripheral arteries in order to do that treatment. And with Avenger, what you get is an internal view that does not use X-rays at all. It doesn't use radiation in order to give you that view. As a matter of fact, it's the radiation exposure to the doctors and to the patient with Avenger's technology is pretty much zero. It's close to zero. I think besides some of like the actual trace to look to see how the blood flow is actually going, I think that's where the radiation comes in. But during the procedure where they're cutting out that plaque and getting rid of those blockages, restoring blood flow, therefore function to people's extremities, that's pretty important to see that. So they need research, they need supply chains, they need market penetration. Their product is promising, but then it's a matter of getting it to be known and getting it into the hands of the vascular surgeons that are actually doing this, and getting them to put that word out there. So it's taking something that's fairly minimally invasive, but has some pretty serious risks to it. And it's actually reducing the risk to the patient by just a little more. It's reducing the radiation risk to the doctors almost entirely. You know, that it's making that radiation risk to the doctors pretty much negligible, that they wouldn't experience any sort of side effects or any sort of downsides because of the almost no radiation. So those are a lot of the reasons why I think that Avenger's technology, between the catheters that they have and their what's the name of their system that they use to look into let's actually go here. There we go. They'll show us the name of their system that actually allows them to see inside the inside the peripheral arteries themselves. Now, mind you, something forward-looking is they're actually working on getting their products for coronary artery disease, which is a repurposing approval process through the FDA. And if they can get into the treatment side for that as well, that's absolutely huge for them moving forward, should they make it into the coronary artery disease, because it is a bigger market. And should they get to that point, then they're in really good place. So let me see. Case studies, absolutely, we want those. Clinical trials, we absolutely want those. Radiation-free technologies, patient stories. There it is. It's called the light box. All I could think out was Dragonfly through NNDM with their lights out or lights dark. So lumovascular image guided therapy is what it's called. And there we go. Let's click on that. So I'm not saying to go buy the stock. I can't ever give financial advice like that because I'm not licensed to do it. However, what I am saying about this is that it's a company that's small, that I have a little bit of money into, and it's just a little bit of money. It's certainly no major stake for me by any means, because I think it's just too risky, too highly speculative for that. But here you get to see what the doctor sees when they go in and they do the treatment on the peripheral artery disease, when they're down into people's the arteries in people's legs, and they're showing that the doctors can literally see on the screen where that catheter is at and what the nature of the material is inside that artery. So this adventitia, I think is what it's called. This is one that if that gets damaged, that can lead to I think restenosis is what it's called, where you get a lot of pain, and I think you can also get some blood clotting. By the way, just so anybody who doesn't happen to know, so if there is, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here because I'm going back to that talk. The doctor, my name is not medical doctor, so when I talk about medical stuff here, right now it's titled only. I should have my doctorate in academics, not in medicine by any means. Hopefully by May of 2022 is where I'm shooting for. That'd be 5 years in the program. So I'll move on from there. So I better move on from Avenger as well. So for them, FDA approval, huge. Coronary artery disease, if they can move into there, into the treatment side of that, absolutely huge. They have a lot of growth potential, but it's a matter of rising up to meet that potential. And supply chains are going to have a lot to do with that, and the case studies and the academic process that's done on as well. All that stuff will lead to market penetration. So they have their work cut out for them, that they have a bit to do. They are below the 200 day, so they're in bearish territory besides just the downtrend that we see here. However, even though they're below it, and that's a bearish sign, it is still positively sloped. So we'll have to see how that plays out. It is good that it is settling. We're finding a base of support for their price moving forward. All right, I better move on from there. There we go. Let's check and see how ANVS is doing. Wow. All right. Yeah, they had a huge fall off, but they fell off down to support, and you can see that they bounced off that support. So what'll be interesting today to see is whether or not that's a dead cat bounce. We do have, when we look down here in the RSI, we do see an oversold area down here, and so it's a matter of waiting for that to see if that strength comes back and starts to build, that we get higher highs, higher lows in the RSI, just like when we would look at the candles, that we want to see a bullish trend taking place there. We don't have enough information yet to really inspire the MACD to turn around to throw us a buy signal on that. So if you're somebody who follows this company and you think that with positive FDA news because I think they got hit pretty hard with FDA news before, that things did not turn out well for them, and that really dropped their stock price. If they can climb back out of that, there's some serious upside potential that would go along with it. But I don't follow this company, but it's one that I talked about last week when somebody asked about it. Or maybe it was, I think it was in my Discord that somebody was asking what I thought about it. So, it could be worth reading up on and finding out what sort of potential they have for going up from this current price that they have of under $39 per share to get them back up to where they were, around like that $110 a share, because that's about 2.5 times where it currently sits. All right, SQ moving like crazy. All right, SQ, I believe, had an acquisition. There we go, of an Australian financial company. Wow, yeah, nice. So all this sell-off that they had all the way back from 726 up to today, they completely erased any of that price action that we saw before. So that's awesome for Square. So they're bumping right up against resistance. So it's a matter of breaking through that resistance. And let me see. So double top of 268. So they have room. And then we also have these two peaks that we have up here, which is sort of that M shape, which would be somewhat of a bearish sign, or a sign that there's going to be a bearish reversal. But you can see they rotated out of that quite well recently. So it didn't really, it failed to break through support. So that was awesome. Analyst estimates on this one runs a little bit rich compared to the analyst estimates. There's 50 analysts covering this. So absolutely huge news on this one. Afterpay, that's the name of the company. So we're getting a page not found. Let's go to a different one. We'll try Seeking Alpha. They tend to be pretty reliable. I'm not a big fan of Investor's Business Daily. Maybe it works out sometimes, but I haven't had huge success in it. That might be one of the ones that has a lot of pop-ups that go along with it. All right, so hot stocks, SQ buys Afterpay. There we go. Making one of its highlights on Monday, pre-market period, Jack Dorsey Payments company announced a massive acquisition and released its quarterly results. I think that was a $29 billion purchase coming up for Square. So for the acquisition that they have, it might actually say in here, there it is. So this is from Investor Place. What to know about the $29 billion Afterpay deal, putting Square in the spotlight. So that's one that I would definitely read more about to see what all Afterpay has to do. It looks like they were on the OTC markets. And with that buyout, that means that we should also see some positive price action for Afterpay as well, up to what it would be per share, given that $29 billion buyout. They might actually mention the price per share in here. So Afterpay enables consumers to buy items online without having to spend anything up front. There's no extra charge for its users if they pay back their 4 installments on time. Oh, that's a neat idea. If the retailers that are charged for a fee for this service, 100,000 retailers around the world service, which has more than 16.2 million customers. Good, according to the statement. Nice. Buy now, pay later, generation of shoppers. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to read more about that. Right now, you're just going to hear me mumble a lot about that one moving forward. So today, how much are they up? They're up almost 8%. Let's go intraday and see how they're doing. All right, so on it, wow. All right, look at that volume that it has today. So the volume is almost 10 million. If we go back to the volumes that we had when we look at just the previous candles, they're in the hundreds of thousands, whereas this one not only broke through the hundreds of thousands into the millions, but it went up to almost 10 million. So what does that look like on a daily chart? Because I didn't look at the volume when I was over there. All right. So today's volume already within the first 21 minutes of trading already matches what it was doing on a daily level. Well, recently, as a matter of fact, I'd say in the past, looks like over the past 2 months, what it's been doing. And so we'll see if it rivals some of these other ones that we had. And we'll also have to wait and see how it's doing, if it's going to break resistance or not, or if that resistance is going to hold out for us. All right. So we went from oversold on the 30-minute very quickly up to the overbought territory. So we span that 30 to 70 gap on the RSI. So let's drill down a little bit further and see what else we have going on. All right, so this is the 5-minute chart that we're looking at, and we have two big green candles, and then it looks like now, get that little bit of a spider candle that we have going there. So this could turn into, it really depends on what we happen to see playing out next. If this candle that's currently working out over the next 2.5 minutes, if that drops down below these others significantly, especially if it goes down more into this territory around the low 260s, then what we get is a resistance at the top. If this stays within the body of the candle that came before it, we actually have a little bit of a flag formation that could allow us to in the short term, push up above that 268.69 that it peaked at. In the level 2, we have a decent amount of buy side support happening for this right around, it looks like the mid 260s, like so it's 265, and it looks like 267. We have a bunch of orders coming in, so not too high above this. If it gets too close to 267, we could see it get knocked back down. So we could continue to bump up against resistance because according to the daily chart, that's about where we're at anyway. We could, over the next few minutes, watch this to, especially if the bull pressure stays up on that one, we could see this break out, by the 10 o'clock hour. So yeah, we'll have to watch how that goes. CCL looks like it's having a good time at the moment. So up at about 3.5% right now for the day. It looks like it sold off. We find a double bottom support in the high 21s, so mid to high 21s, and then nice little rally. What does the daily chart look like on Carnival? All right. Oh, that's nice. Okay. So big sell-off for the cruise lines, Delta variant news, and now I hear there's like a Gamma variant news coming out. Not excellent for the cruise lines, and really they're just going to have until they're back and people feel safe and those numbers start coming back again, and they start becoming the cash machines that they were before. They're going to have struggles, and I wonder. I'll have to look at NCLH and RCL and see how they're doing as well. So Norwegian and Royal Caribbean, and see how similar they look. But what I was saying was nice about Carnival is you can see just how well the 200-day is acting as resistance for Carnival. So from the price that we're at right now of $22.37, we have room up to the mid 23s before we hit resistance again. And it's a matter of will this support keep holding out in the mid 21s up to those mid 23s? Are we going to start to see some narrowing where we would have some upward pressure put on this for more bullish potential, or is it going to barcode for a while and trade sideways and consolidate until we get strong sailing news coming out for the cruise lines? Those are things that time will tell. The cruise lines, I don't think the big ones that we have, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, I don't think that they're going to just up and disappear. I do think that they have some headwinds with the debt they've taken on, but they've managed to really rotate, I would say, about as best they can, because they were one of the companies or types of companies that would be impacted the worst, because everything that happened on a cruise ship was everything they said not to do with the coronavirus pandemic. So being in close proximity, being in enclosed spaces with large groups of people, and no real way to sanitize. You had it just really, really messy stuff for them. So let's take a look at Norwegian. So I believe that the cruise companies, there we go. There's always that idea of bankruptcy. That's where the risk would come in. If they fall into an area of unmanageable debt, then bankruptcy is something that has to be worried about. Norwegian, you can see it looks like Friday fared a little bit worse than Carnival did. It didn't hold that bottom line around the mid 24s. However, we have this engulfing candle today taking place, completely wiping out what happened on the day before. So we could still sort of look at this high 24s as like a sort of area of support. We definitely see the 200-day acting as strong resistance for NCLH moving forward. So that would let you know, should you buy now in the short term, about where you could possibly, based on what we've seen, we could still expect to hit that sort of resistance before tumbling back down again. Let's take a look at RCL. Okay, looking at Royal Caribbean, it actually broke resistance, unlike Norwegian and Carnival. However, once it did sell off, now it's bumping up against resistance again. So as far as taking a position, doing it now as a swing trade when it's hitting up against a resistance like this, trying to take a long position would be something that would be difficult to do. As a long-term play, something that you'd be looking at down the road, years down the road for Royal Caribbean, expected to be one of the tops for rotating, for surviving all the negativity, financially speaking, that happened during the pandemic for cruise lines. Royal Caribbean is still one of those champions in that space. So really, long term, this would be one that you think would pan out of the three of them that I've shown here. So right now, not running too rich, but running fairly rich, and a lot of it is based on the fundamentals of the company and the longer term success and their ability to rotate back out of the debt that they find themselves in, which they've taken on a lot given their cash burn through the pandemic. All right, what else we got here? I guess it is about time to talk about. All right, I'll put up BABA and then I'll come back to crypto, because we should really put crypto up there. Ethereum being the big news in crypto, I believe, right now. So we'll go show that in a moment. So Alibaba under 200. In my mind it is bumping up against resistance for 200, but I believe that once 200 is broken, if it's significantly broken, then we can start entering back into maybe a better sign for a reversal. It is nice that we're finding such good support right around 190. It was broken on one day, and I would call this peak fear day on the 27th. So that was Tuesday of last week. And besides that day, it actually settled pretty well on 190. Now, about taking a long position, take a look at the trend that we see. We're below the moving averages. Both moving averages are negatively sloped. We want to see signs of turnaround before we really think about the fact that BABA could turn around for us in more of a bullish way. So they have some work ahead of them as well. But breaking up above 200 is going to be important in the short term. And they just keep on hitting right around that price and then tumbling back down. So where are we at here? So they actually opened on Thursday. They opened at 201 and then they closed at 197. We need to close above 200 to really start turning things around and hopefully breaking through those previous resistance areas like we have, like maybe with the 50 period that we have here, or the bottom of these candles at 207. So going up above the moving average would be good. Setting in a new high, so breaking over 217, breaking over 229. If it fails to break through those resistances and then puts in new lows, we know that we're still in bearish territory. All right, so let's go to CoinMarketCap. And I got Ethereum here. Let's go to the trading view so we can see the candles. You can see the most recent price from when I last refreshed the page, almost $2,600. There we go. That trading view is popping up for us where we can see the candles and we can see the price action that took place over the weekend. All right. Look at that incredible run that Ethereum has had. As a matter of fact, not only have we gone through that, and if we can break over this resistance that we're currently seeing, we have really good sign of that W, or that double bottom, which is a bullish sign for us that we're on our way to setting new highs, that we're on our way to a breakout. If we can move up above this current area of resistance that we have right around that $2,600 mark. The next area that we have is right around 2,800. So another like just under $200 from where it's at right now before we get there again. And if we break the 200, then we really have, if we break the 2,800, we really have potential for moving to the upside very strongly. So by the way, the London hard fork today's the 2nd of August, and the London hard fork is for the 4th of August. And so that'll be coming out for us on Wednesday, or maybe it's right between Wednesday and Thursday that hits, and we'll get the London hard fork. Then we start to get the base fees, so it should stabilize some of the gas fees that we have, and it should also be burning those base fees as well. So we get to see just how much of the Ethereum that, tied to the US dollar, for example, not tied to it, but based in US dollar amounts, because that's what this show uses is US dollars. We get to see how much money is burned up when we burn up that Ethereum. And that's going to be incredible for Ethereum investors who are thinking about limiting the amount of Ether that happens to be out there. So limiting that supply, but with ever increasing demand, it should be good for the price action that we see with the Ethereum chart moving forward. We have all sorts of different analyst estimates coming out for predictions for Ethereum's price. And one of the most recent ones that I've heard is almost $5,000, like $4,700 and that was from a panel of experts. The news might still be down here. I'll have to see. Actually, they have a news tab up here as well. $4,700 by the end of 2021. So significantly up from where it's at right now. So not, I would say maybe like 40% up from where it happens to be, and then even bigger from there. So let me see. I don't want to sit here and pick through all the news for you. Let me see. All right, so I'll have to dig that up and share it with you guys at some point in time. I do want to check in with some of the other cryptos that we have while we're on the subject of crypto, and we'll also bring it back to the stock market, and we'll look at some of the securities that are also have ties to crypto. So Bitcoin still flirting with that $40,000 mark. It took Ethereum a little bit longer to come and break through areas of resistance the way the Bitcoin did. So I wonder if we'll see in the short term Ethereum settling a little bit. Honestly, I think when people see that base fee burn, I think it's going to change them on a psychological level when it comes to what exactly is happening with Ethereum. It's one thing to know about the base fee burn. It's another thing to watch those dollars go up in smoke as that ETH gets burned off. So that'll be interesting to see as that London fork hits. I also want to check out my friend Polygon. So Polygon uses the Matic token, and seeing it under $1, I think for me is that load up zone. So right now at about $1.06, not too bad. And the stronger it goes, or the more it goes under $1, the stronger my buying conviction becomes for Polygon. I think that this is going to do very well moving forward as a layer 2 solution that we have for the Ethereum blockchain for lowering those gas fees that you pay for the transactions on Ethereum. Lots of adoption, lots of migration to Polygon, and this is one that I think will build out for us over time. You can see that it didn't have that straight run up like Ethereum and Bitcoin did, that it ran up and then it started hitting resistance right around what we had support for here is now resistance over here. So however, we have continued upward pressure. Let me zoom in for you. There, we have continued upward pressure on Polygon. So if this thing does break out of this little tiny sideways movement that we have recently, if it does break, it's possible that it breaks to the upside for us, and we start to see some of that price action return. It's a little bit more similar to what we have with Ethereum and with Bitcoin. All right, so with that said, I've come over here and let's check out Grayscale. Maybe if this wants to leave Alibaba here, they're good. Got it. All right. So recently, good price action. And you can see it's dancing right now along that 200-day. And this price should be moving fairly well with Bitcoin because it's a Bitcoin trust. So it's tied pretty directly to what we have with Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin breaking up over 40,000 is going to give us more of that positive price movement. And we'll have to watch that throughout 2021. So if you want the exposure to Bitcoin without actually having to worry about the hassles of owning the Bitcoin or handling your wallets or dealing with cold storage and all that kind of security, and you just want to go through your exchanges, or maybe you have a retirement account and you want that sort of exposure, but you can't do it directly with crypto yet, this is one of those ways that you would get that Bitcoin exposure without actually owning any of the Bitcoin. So really that part depends on what you want. And so we'll have to watch that if it is going to keep using the 200-day that it's kind of oscillating around. And that's really based on what we see happening with Bitcoin. So let's check out Ethereum Grayscale Trust. There we go. And they're up over 6%. And you can see the gap up that they have. And this is one that I absolutely have on my watch list for my watch list of stocks that's available through my Patreon. I put it out every week. And with the price action that we had through Ethereum, this was an easy call. These are OTC market stocks. So you don't really see any pre-market action taking place. But this gap up is because of what we saw with the price action with Ethereum breaking the 2,400 resistance, making it up to $2,600. And if we continue that bullish behavior for Ethereum, we should also see this move up. So this again would be an example of another security that you would have where you wouldn't own the Ether token. Instead, you would own the security through this trust that was set up to hold Ethereum itself. You wouldn't be the holder. So nice little movement that we have, a nice pop that we have with the Ethereum Grayscale Trust. All right, yeah, check that out. So this is the intraday that we're looking at, and you can see we have a double top over here. And then also we're bumping up against resistance over there. So looks like the low to mid 22s is where we're hitting resistance. And that's also tied to the resistance that we're hitting when we look at the Ethereum chart itself. As a matter of fact, we can toss up that Ethereum chart here. So we're still looking at the 30-minute chart, and you can see that that resistance that we're hitting, resistance over here, there's that resistance, and then we have room after that up to almost $2,700. When did it hit that? So that was yesterday at 4:35 p.m. So Sunday, 4:35 Eastern time, somewhere around that, within 30 minutes of that anyway, because this is a 30-minute chart. We peaked out at almost $2,700 just for a little bit. All right. Oh, sorry. I'm excited to check out GNOG. It's nice to see them up 3%. They've had a rough go of it recently. I'll touch upon those soon, along with DraftKings. First, I wanted to stop by MicroStrategy. There we go. So MicroStrategy kind of hanging around, sort of like what we have with Bitcoin. I also want to take a look at the price action that we see with Riot Blockchain and with Mara. There we go. So very similar looking charts, dancing right along support that we have right around 31.22 is today's 50-day when we look at that moving forward. And then let's look at Marathon Digital real quick. All right, so in Marathon Digital, so again, still very similar looking chart. So you can see very much tied to what we have in the crypto markets for Bitcoin for those companies. All right, let's check out GNOG. I can't wait anymore. All right, so looking at GNOG, they are currently trading below the 50-day. So they're in very bearish territory. They're one of the smaller plays that we have. Lots of selling pressure. However, we're starting to trade sideways for the first time in a while that we're just holding this sort of price action between $11 and $12. And for me, I like that because it establishes a base of support, and it really tells us where we find a lot of our risk taking place, or where that limitation is to the risk that we put on this. So one of the nearest limitations that we have is right around $11, maybe into the high 10s would be some of the lowest prices that we see with the most recent price action. And we keep on hitting resistance right around $12. So this is a matter of watching things turn around for GNOG. And for them, legalization is going to be huge. And seeing what some of the bigger movers that we have in the online gambling and esports and online sports betting, those are ones that that we want to watch, because that's going to tell us more about what we see with GNOG being another one of those players in that area. All right. So DraftKings, I believe, has earnings on Thursday. Let me see. All eyes on jobs. Barron's has it in his stocks to watch this week. Let me see. Here are Money's biggest analyst calls. Let's check that out from CNBC. Actually, I want to bring it up on Seeking Alpha. A lot of times we get earnings previews coming out through Seeking Alpha. I have Seeking Alpha. I like Seeking Alpha a lot. I use it pretty often. Oops, I'm trying to type in Seeking Alpha instead of DraftKings. There we go. I don't know that they have a referral program or an affiliate program. If they did, I would certainly put it out there and endorse it because I do like it so much, and I think that they have a lot of really good things that come out, and they're very timely with their news. I do have a link for tip ranks. Finally, we'll take a look at that in just a moment. I'm sorry, I don't have a link for tip ranks. I have an application in for the affiliate program because I do use it so much, and I use it in my live streams. And I really do stand by it. Even if I don't get accepted in the affiliate program, I still think that that it's one that's definitely worth checking out. So if you're hesitant, I will let you know when that comes along, and we should be in in a good shape there. All right, so that's Saturday, July 24th. Okay, like I said, I think that the earnings are on Thursday for DraftKings. So DraftKings, they'll probably come out and report that they spent a lot on advertising. And I've mentioned before, I'm okay that they spend a lot on advertising. I want them to ensure that they stay the leaders and that they belong at the top because I do have investment in them. And I am bullish on them. And I believe that they are absolutely capable of capturing the majority of the market share, a huge chunk of the market share in online sports betting. And online gambling. So that's something to keep in mind for DraftKings. And hovering around $50, I would say, is about right for right now when you look at the analyst estimates. We're near that low, and we have a significant amount to get to the average estimate. We have 27 analysts on this one. Okay. There we go. I wanted to make sure I could see the comments that we have here. All right, so DraftKings on tip ranks. All right, 32% upside average analyst estimate, $65 that we have right now, and we can see how recent they are. These will pop up in just a moment. We'll get the most recent analyst estimates. So 5 days ago, price started at 60, 6 days, 73, 8 days, 80, 8 days, $60, $70, $73, 60, all within the last month's time. It looks like the lowest that we have is $60. So about a 20% upside at a minimum, according to the analysts that we have covering right now. And we'll see when those earnings come out, what happens to be said for DraftKings moving forward. So we get earnings, hopefully we get some guidance, and hopefully we get pleasantly surprised. All right, it is about 10:15. I got to start wrapping things up here. So with that said, I do want to just check back in with our EVs and see how they're doing. All right. So it looks like XPeng is having a great day today. So up 7.5%, running up almost to resistance where we're tipping onto those mid 45s. We have a decent price wall happening at just under $44. So I don't know if we'll break 44 today, if those orders are going to hold out that we have it. It looks like 43.67. There's a lot of sell side pressure, and we have a lot of buy side support coming in at 43.43. So between $43 and $44 could be where we see this. Of course, really anything can happen as the day goes on. But I would say that we're in good shape for XPeng. Moving forward, it is one of my top choices, especially in Chinese EVs, right next to NIO. We up almost 5%, and almost at resistance as well. So we'll see if this delivery news is enough to break us through resistance over time for Lee, and then finally NIO. Very nice. So NIO is back up in the high 46s, just barely past the midpoint of 45. but we are past it. We're also up above the 200-day and the 50-day. We got that golden cross taking place. And so we'll see if we get pushed up above resistance and if some of these prices play out. So let's go with, in that order that we just covered, let's go with XPUM. So 17% upside over the next 12 months. 51.20 is what's being reported here from the average analyst estimate. And then we'll look at Lee. Lee, a 30% upside from its current price. So that's absolutely awesome. There we go. And Lee, I want to remind you, had the most deliveries this month out of the three, Neo, XPeng, and Lee. Lee was the only one, I think they had 8,500, which is more deliveries than either XPeng or Neo ever had. So that's something really important to keep in mind, that they are handling things quite well, at least as far as this month goes. And we'll see how that plays out for August deliveries when September the 1st rolls around. All right. And then here we're looking at Neo. We got 6 analysts covering this one, almost a 40% upside. So I think that we're in really good shape for these Chinese EV companies. And I don't think the Chinese government is going to subject them to the same scrutiny as they had with some of the other restrictions placed on other companies who have IPO'd recently, such as DD, for example, on the New York Stock Exchange. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for commenting. And I'm going to be back tomorrow around 9:15. I hope to see you there. Have a great day.